Hello students, welcome back to Info Science. So in today's video we shall discuss about the tissues. So we'll know about what is tissue and about the different types of tissues that are present in both the plants and the animals. So let us discuss about it. But before that, we have to know how tissues are formed. So you see, there are different levels of organization. So the main basic level is the cell. So cell, it is known as the basic unit, or we can say it is the structural or functional unit of all living organism, and this group of cells only, they make the tissue. And this group of tissue, when they perform the same function, they form the organ, and the many organs, they function together, then that make the organ system. And many such organ system, it constitute the whole living organism. So you see in the picture, the first it is the plant cell. So from the plant cell, it has formed the tissues, that is the plant tissues. Then from the tissues, it have formed the different plant parts. Then it have forms the organ system of some of the plants. Then at last it has forms the whole organism, that is the whole plant. Next, in the second part, you can see in the picture, it is the animal cell. So from the animal cell, it has formed the tissue. Then from that tissue, it has formed the organ. Then from the organ, it has formed the organ system. And from that organ system, it has formed the whole organism. So this is known as the levels of organization. That is, from the cell it forms the tissue, then from the tissue it forms the organ, then from the organ it forms the organ system, and from the organ system it forms the organism. Now let us know what exactly is the tissues. So you see, tissues are what? These are the some group of cells. So when a group of cells that are similar in structure and that work together to perform a particular function, and that only it forms the tissues. And all the types of tissues have the two main components. So the first is the cells. So cells, they are having some common origin and then function, and the intercellular substances, which are the non-living or the fibrous jelly-like substances. So the cells and the intercellular substances, these are the two components of all the types of the tissues. Now let us know about the classification of tissues. So tissues are broadly classified into two main categories. So the one is the plant tissues and the another one is the animal tissues. So now let us discuss about the plant tissues. So these plant tissues, these are broadly divided into two main types. So the one is the meristematic tissue and the another one is the permanent tissue. So this meristematic tissue, it constitute a group of very actively dividing cells and that are present in the growing region of the plant. So the growing region is what? It is the tips of the roots and the tips of the stem. And this type of tissue, they are responsible for increasing the length and girth of the plant. Now let us know about the characteristics of this meristematic tissue. So here the cells of the meristematic tissue, they are similar in structure and they have thin cellulose in their cell walls, and their cells, they may be spherical, oval, polygonal or rectangular in shape. And here the cells of the tissues, they are compactly arranged and they don't have any intercellular space. And this type of tissues, in this type of tissues, the cells, they have a dense protoplasm with the permanent nuclei, and here the vacuoles in the cells are either small or absent. So these are the characteristics of the meristematic tissue. So you could see here in the picture, this is the meristematic tissue. Now we will know about this meristematic tissue broadly. So on the basis of the position in the plant body, so this meristematic tissue, this is classified into three types. So the one is the apical meristem, the second one is the lateral meristem, and the third one is the intercalary meristem. So these are the three types of tissue that is classified on the basis of their position in the plant body. So you can see here in the picture where the apical meristem is present, and then the intercalary meristem, and the last one that is the lateral meristem. Now let us know about all this meristem, where it is present and what are their different functions. So these apical meristems, these are present at the growing tips. You could see here in the growing tips of the roots and stem, and here the main function is that it brings about the elongation of the roots and stem, and also it results in the increase in the height of the plant, which is called the primary growth. Next is the lateral meristem. So this lateral meristem, these are present along the lateral side of the roots and stem. So you can see in the picture in the lateral side, and here the function is that it increases the grit of the roots and stem, and this is known as the secondary growth. And the last one is the intercalary meristem. So they are located at the base of the leaves or internodes. So you can see here in the picture, and here the main function is that it produces an increase of the length of the organ. So the organ is what? That is the leaves and the internodes. Now let us know about the permanent tissue. So this permanent tissue, these are derived from the meristematic tissue, and their cells, they lost their power of division, means they cannot divide any further. So this permanent tissue, these are classified into two main types. So the one is the simple permanent tissue, and the another one is the complex permanent tissue. Now let us know about the simple permanent tissue. So this simple permanent tissue, these tissues, they are simple, and they are composed of the cells which are structurally and also functionally they are similar. So there are different types of simple permanent tissue. So they are parenchyma, collenchyma, serenchyma, and the protective tissue. Now let us know about this different types of the simple permanent tissue one by one. So the first is the parenchyma simple tissue. So the cells of the parenchyma tissues, they are live and they are oval, elongated. So you can see here in the picture the cells, they are oval, then elongated, and also they are loosely packed with the large intercellular space between them, and also it forms the basic packing of the tissues. So this parenchyma simple tissue, the main function is that they provide the mechanical support to the plant body, and also they store the food and nutrients in their vacuoles. So this parenchyma simple tissue, there are also some different types is there. So the one is the collenchyma. So this collenchyma are the parenchyma only. So in that they have the chlorophyll, and which performs the photosynthesis. And erenchyma, this type of tissues, they are found in the aquatic plants. So the cells of the parenchyma, they have the large air cavities, and that give the buoyancy to the plants. Now let us know about the another simple tissue, that is the collenchyma. So the cells of the collenchyma also, they are live, they are oval and elongated and tightly packed with no intercellular spaces. So you can see here the collenchyma tissues in the picture. So here no intercellular spaces there, and their function is also that they provide the mechanical support to the plant, and also they provide the flexibility to the plants. Next is the serenchyma simple tissue. So here the cells of the serenchyma, they are dead, then they are narrow and elongated. So you can see here in the picture, elongated and it is narrow, and also the cell wall, it is composed of lignin, and this serenchyma simple tissues, they are found in the vascular bundles and in the veins of leaves, and also in the hard coverings of seeds and nuts. So this type of tissues, their function is that they help to make the parts of the plant hard and stiff, and also they provide the mechanical strength. So you see this parenchyma, then collenchyma. Here the cells are live, but in case of serenchyma, the cells here it is dead. Then next difference we have find that in the cells of the parenchyma simple tissue, they are loosely packed, and here large intercellular space is present in between them. But in case of the collenchyma, there is no any intercellular spaces between them. So this is the main difference in between these simple tissues. Now let us know about the another type of simple tissue, that is the protective tissue. So this protective tissue, they protect the plant by forming an outer layer, and this protective tissue also there are different types is there. So the one is the epidermis. So epidermis is what? It is the one cell thick layer that is covered with the cuticle. So you can see here in this picture, it is covered with the cuticle, and it is waterproof layer as it has a waxy substance called the cuticle. And here the cells of the epidermis, they are elongated. So you can see here they are elongated, and also they are flattened, and they do not contain any intercellular space. So you can see here there is no any intercellular space in between them. And the main function of the epidermis is that they protect the plant from desiccation and also from the infection. Now let us know about the next kind of protective tissue, that is the cork. So this cork is what? So suppose as the plants they grow older, so that this epidermis, they undergo some changes and they transform into cork. So you can see here in the picture. So here the walls of the cork cells, they are heavily thickened by the deposition of the suberin, which makes this type of cells impermeable to the water and also to the gases. So you can see here in the picture, this is the cork, and you see here the cells, they are heavily thickened with the deposition of the suberin. And the main function of this cork is that it also prevent the desiccation and from the infection, and also from the mechanical injury. Next is the stomata. So the stomata is what? So the epidermis of the leaf, they have some small pores called stomata. So you see, and each stoma, it is bounded by specialized epidermis cells called the Gerd cells. So you can see here in the picture the Gerd cells. So these Gerd cells are the epidermis cells only, and they contain the chloroplast. So you can see here in the picture the Gerd cell. So this Gerd cell only, they contains the chloroplast, and the main function of this, that this stoma, they allows the gaseous exchange to occur during the photosynthesis and also during the respiration. Now let us know about the complex permanent tissue. So this complex permanent tissue, they consist of more than one type of cells, and here all these cells, they coordinate to perform a common function. So you see there are two main types of complex tissue, that is the xylem and the phloem. So this xylem, it is also known as conducting tissue, and this xylem, it is a vascular and mechanical tissue also, and it is composed of 4 different types of cells, that is the tracheids, vessels, xylem serenchyma, xylem parenchyma. And here, except the xylem parenchyma, all the elements are dead and bounded by thick lignified walls, and the tracheids and vessels are the tubular structures. So the main function of the xylem is that they carry the water and minerals salt upward from the roots to the different parts of the shoots. And since the walls of the tracheids and vessels and parenchyma of the xylem are lignified, they also give mechanical support to the plant body. So you can see here in the picture, so this is the xylem, and these are the 4 different types of the cells that are present in the xylem, that is the tracheids, vessels, then xylem parenchyma and xylem parenchyma. Next is the phloem. So this phloem, these are the living conductive tissue, and it also consists of 4 cells, that is the sieve tubes. So sieve tubes, they are slender and tube-like structure with perforated walls. So you can see here in the picture. Then the companion cells, they are living parenchyma cells lying on the sides of the sieve tubes, and the phloem fibers, they are the thick wall fibers with simple pits. So you can see here in the picture. Then phloem parenchyma, they are thin wall living cells of parenchyma of the phloem, and the main function of the phloem is that the phloem, they transport photosynthetically prepared food materials from the leaves to the storage organ. So here let us have some glimpse of all these points. So these tissues are what? These tissues are the group of cells, and they are similar in structure, and they work together to perform a particular functions. Then these tissues, they are broadly classified into 2 types, that is the plant tissue and animal tissue. So this plant tissue, it is divided into 2 main types. The one is the meristematic tissue, and the another one is the permanent tissue. So this meristematic tissue are what? These tissues, they are the group of the actively dividing cells, and this is present in the growing region of the plants. And this meristematic tissue, it is again broadly classified into 3 main types depending on the basis of the position in the plant body. So the one is the apical meristem, which is present in the tips of the roots and stem. Then the intercalary meristem, which is present in the base of the internodes and leaves. And then the lateral meristem, which is present in the lateral sides of the roots and stem. Then the permanent tissue. So this permanent tissue of what? This type of tissues, these are derived from the meristematic tissue only, but their cells, they lost the power of division. And this permanent tissue, it is classified into 2 types, that is the simple permanent tissue, and another one is the complex permanent tissue. So this simple permanent tissue, it is again divided into 4 main types, that is the parenchyma, collenchyma, parenchyma, and protective tissue. So this protective tissue is also of different types, that is the epidermis, cork, and stoma. Then the last one is the complex permanent tissue, and this complex permanent tissue, it is of 2 types, that is the xylem and phloem. So this is all about the plant tissue.